about yourself. You've brewed for many years.
Correct. I started off as a home brewer, like most typical brewers do. And after our steakhouse went out of business, I had to go search for a new job. So I went to the Union Station Brewery, and the head brewer there needed help. So he said, "Hey, I'll take you on as an apprentice for a couple days a week." And I did that for 2 years.
And how is that different from being a home brewer, the transition to the larger scale?
It's a much larger scale. There's different fittings, different like security things that you need to be careful of, like a lot more heavy chemicals that you have to deal with. But the transition went really well, especially when you're training for 2 years to finally fill the role of head brewer. So.
And what first got you into brewing? Just an interest? What started lit the flame?
The fling was actually my sister gave me a wine kit, and she's like, "Hey, here's a hobby for you." And I read up on the wine kit, and it basically said that it took over 6 months to get your first product. So I said, "No, that's way too long for me. I'm not going to deal with that." So I transitioned into beer pretty quickly, and after that it just became a love affair to where my wife said, "You can't brew in the house anymore."
So then you had to branch out, and once you left Union Station, you moved on to your current position.
Correct. I moved up to my current position. It is more distribution rather than brew pub. So it's more a larger scale, a lot more kegs, a lot more. I still had the same creativity as I did in the brew pub, but it was just a lot more cleaning, a lot more flipping the product more than the brew pub.
And now you're moving off. You're starting your own business,
Yes.
coming full circle.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about that. It's called Smug Brewing. Where does the name come from?
The Smug actually, now that there's hundreds and hundreds of breweries out there, it was really hard to find a name without getting a cease and desist letter. So we went out and we actually looked up power words, and smug actually was in that. And we're like, how can this be a power word? But one of the lines in there is confidence. So that's what we want to portray, is like confidence in our beer, confidence in what we do, and move that confidence onto the customer.
And you'll be opening in Pawtucket. You took over the Bucket Brewery, though, correct?
Correct, yep.
And so tell us about that space.
It's a fairly large space. Most startups are usually not that large, but we thought we can do it. It's a large facility. It's a 10-barrel brew house with 7 20-barrel fermenters. So it's kind of large for a startup, but I feel I have the experience enough to get this going.
And when do you guys think you'll be launching?
Hopefully we should be launching by the beginning of fall. But there are always things, but we have our fingers crossed. So
hopefully all goes well on that front.
Yes.
And so what kind of beer do you prefer to make?
Well, all beer is great, but the styles are all pretty much similar. It just depends on how much hops you add, how much adjuncts, like there could be oats and cocoa nibs and spices. So it just depends on what style it is, but pretty much they're all brewed the same, different temperatures, just different things added. But IPAs are really big, and they leave this awesome aromatic in the brew house, and it smells wonderful.
And so there, like you mentioned, there are so many different brews right now, especially in Rhode Island. There seems to be new ones popping up almost every day. How hard is it to compete and be different and stand out from everyone else?
It's not terribly hard. Every brewer has their own style, and people tend to gravitate to that style. My style has been perfected around Providence for over 6 years, so people tend to like my style, and they know they expect. They know the high quality standards that I have for my beers, so they can drink my beer with the utmost confidence that it's going to taste delicious and it's going to be delicious.
And once you open, will you be open to the public? Can people just stop by and
Yep.
and try it out?
Yep, we definitely will have our beer in restaurants, bars, but we also have our tasting room where you can come in, enjoy yourself all of our sample varieties, because there will be some beer that we won't release into the public, so you have to come in and try it. So That's where we'll be mostly experimenting our beer. So the one-offs that you can't get anywhere else, you have to come to the brewery for that.
And do you have any partnerships set up yet of where you'll be able to buy it, or what restaurants you'd be able to get it at?
I've had a few restaurant owners contact me that they're ready to, well, as soon as we're ready to go, they're ready to go, but nothing nothing in stone yet. Yeah.
All right, we'll have to stay tuned for that. And do you have a website or social media? Where can people learn more about it, or do we just have to stay tuned for now?
You have to stay tuned for now. We are working on all that. As soon as we get that up and running, you guys will be the first to know.
And so tell us a little bit more about the brewing process. It's such a fascinating process, like you said. Like what is it that you like so much about it?
It's what I like about it is that I'm taking raw material, raw cereal grains, hops, and yeast, and I'm actually making this giant cauldron soup of sugary wort liquid. And at the end result, I'm making this beautiful elixir of wonderfulness that makes you feel awesome.
Who could say no to that?
No one
Best
can.
Tagline there. And you mentioned you didn't feel like waiting the 6 months for wine, which is understandably a very long wait.
Right.
About how long does it take to make a full batch?
Depending on the style, from beginning to end, it could take anywhere from 3 weeks to, I mean, if we're not going into sour beers, we're going from 3 weeks to like 5 or 6 weeks.
So not too long at all.
Not too long at all, but I mean, there are beers that take years, but we don't have time for that either.
Those are the exceptions. And so if you're opening up in the fall, you guys gonna start production soon?
Yep, we will as soon as we get all our permit. Well, we have our federal permit. We're just waiting on our state. As soon as we get that in, we'll start getting all our beautiful beers out there and ready to go. And hopefully, our nice fall beers will come out. Nice Oktoberfest, maybe a pumpkin spice. Who knows?
Great time of year for it.
It is. When the cold weather comes in, it's time for a nice warming beer for you.
So I'll have to stop by and check it out.
Oh, definitely.
And what would you tell the world to sum up your brewery?
Sum up my brewery is basically we're not brewing to judge. We're not brewing to be something we're not. We are who we are. We make our beers. We make beers that people want to drink. We don't care if you're a 250-pound guy and want to drink a pink beer. We're okay with that. We don't care if you're a 90-pound lady and you want to drink a triple IPA. We're okay with that. We support all, and we're not going to judge you for it.
Sounds like all you could ask for.
That's no judgment-free zone. I think someone took that tagline, but we'll throw it out there.
Yeah, you can borrow it.
Yeah, we'll borrow it.
Well, thanks so much for coming in today. We're all very excited to see when you guys will be launching and when we can all try it out.
Okay, I'm really excited to get started.
Well, Robert DaRosa, thanks so much for coming in. Founder of Smug Brewing. Keep your eyes out. It'll be up and running soon.
It'll be up and running
this fall. And that's it for us today on GoLocal Live. Thanks so much for joining us. You can stay up to date on the latest in news, politics, and everything else on GoLocal.com. And Kate will be back tomorrow at noon for our start to the weekend show. Here in the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center, I'm Rachel Noon.